Hi, I'm Amy with Mommy Scrapping. If you're new here, welcome. I'd love if you would hit that subscribe button and join me for my memory keeping videos. And if you're a returning visitor, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Today I am going to scrapbook a layout for Stamp With Me. This was also part of a challenge at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and I use stamps to create unique background paper. Let's get started. Alright, so here's the layout I'm going to be scrap lifting. We were given a challenge at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club within our team to do kind of like a telephone hop where one person started, passed their layout on to the next person. They scrap lifted that and then passed their scrap lift on and over until we got to the last person. I was the middle person and Miranda Weber was right before me. I'll leave a link to her video down below. But this is the layout I was given. And things that I pulled from it were the circles going down the left side, the strips through the middle, and the three embellishment clusters at the top right corner, the kind of where the dots and the paper strips intersect on the top, along with that big title, and then the embellishment cluster at the bottom right of the photo. I tried to mimic these things within my layout. Okay, so now we get to the actual layout part. I am scrapbooking a picture of someone I met at Creativation. Her name is Jessica, and she is a store owner for a shop in Washington State. I can't remember the city now off the top of my head. But she was absolutely wonderful. We ended up being seated next to each other in my first lawn fawn class, and then ended up being seated together in a couple other classes, just coincidentally. And we kept running into each other on the show floor, and she is such a wonderful person. With her shop being closed due to the virus, she's actually done video shopping where she takes me around the store on FaceTime and I can fill up my cart that way. So it's great because I get to chat with a friend and support a local business. Well, not local to me, but a small business. I'll leave a link down to her Facebook page down below. I highly suggest you follow her. She is awesome. And if you're in Washington, Bothell, I think might be where it is. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But if you're in Washington State and close to her, check her out. She is fabulous. So the picture I have of us at Creativation is actually in Shamel Lane's booth for American Crafts for Never Grow Up. And I could have used that collection. I decided not to, though. I found this collection, Oh Happy Day, from Simple Stories. And it's an older one, although not too old. You can still find some parts of it on scrapbook.com, which I will have linked down below for you as well if you want to pick it up. But I got it at Tuesday morning, actually, and I just loved the bright colors. These bright colors really reminded me of Jessica and her bright personality. She's just full of life. So I had decided for this, I was going to create a stamped background. I used some Distress Oxides and one Distress ink. Picked Raspberry, Spice Marmalade, Speckled Egg, and Twisted Citron are all the Oxide inks I used. And then I used Scattered Straw as the Distress ink. I don't have that in Oxide yet. It's coming though. Actually, it's coming from Jessica's store, believe it or not. I ordered it from her this past weekend. The stamps I'm using are ones I've had for a little while. They are also available at scrapbook.com. They're by the stamp market called Heaps of Hearts. And I love it because you have a whole bunch of different options. There are dies that go with it too. I've just ordered those. They haven't come in yet. But you have full hearts, you have half hearts, and then you can mix and match them. And that's what I'm doing. If you look, you can see what I'm doing in the middle there. That's all going to be covered up. So I did my color tests right on the exact paper. I love to color test some of my combinations when I do things like this. So I'm mixing like the Speckled Egg and checking to see if you can see the spiced marmalade on top of it clearly, because when I tried it with the picked raspberry, you could see it, but not too well. So right now I'm using these heart stamps to mimic the circles that were on the left side of Miranda's layout. A moment ago you saw me with a pencil, and I went ahead and marked where the paper strip's going to go. I marked inside so it's smaller. I actually stamp more than what I'm going to need, which is fine, but then I don't have to worry about stamping all the way down going, I don't know where it's going to be. I also stamped some of the stamps off the side of the page, which kind of gives that idea of continuation, that it's a pattern that keeps going up even though it's not a pattern at all. right. Sorry about my head there. There's going to be some of my head in this. And every time I know my head's in there, I hear my sister Karen telling me, oh, there's all your gray hairs, Amy. So I've got a test. I keep putting that middle stripe there. Middle strip, not stripe. Well, I guess you could call it a stripe. My background paper is an old white and gray sheet from a Dear Lizzie collection, Fine and Dandy. It has bows on the back of it. And I have a paper holder in my scrapbook room that isn't by designer or anything, which is how I store most of my stuff. But it's all just like basic backgrounds. So when I decide I want to pull something, sometimes I forget about this file and I need to move it. I have an idea. I need to move it where my in the calyx unit right next to me, because if I put it there, I would probably check it quite regularly. But I was going through it and I was like, oh, that's right. So I pulled this one as just a basic plain paper. There were some wood ones in there I almost went with, but they were a little too bold and I felt like my stamps would get lost on it. But this with the subtle white with the gray stripe is perfect. It gives you that pattern, but it's not in your face and lets the, I almost said stars. Those are not stars, those are hearts. It lets the stars really shine in this. So I'm leaving the paper strip down the middle at this point because I'm trying to fill in the gaps. I mean, obviously I've got gaps here and I'm trying to make sure everything's kind of spaced apart. And I wish I had added in another color, like that dark aqua color, because I felt like I had some things that repeated a little too much. By the time, though, I get to the end of this with the layers on there, the picture, and the different embellishment clusters, it does work a lot better. Another thing I wish I had done was put some of the hearts in the top right, because that would have tied those over to the embellishment cluster that ends up on that side. I end up putting some small heart enamel shapes, and that works. So just kind of finishing it up, getting things in there. The rest of this layout, once the stamping was done, actually went rather quickly. It was mostly the putting the layers together for the paper and then playing with the 3x4 cards. I used a 3x4 card in each of my clusters. And this is the page I pulled it from. So this one I'm cutting right now says life is better when you're laughing. That's going to go to with the cluster to the right of the photo. Now Miranda's layout had it more in the bottom right corner, but because I'm using a 4x4 photo instead of a 4x6, I decided I wanted to extend it out towards the right. And then that left some gap at the bottom, which is where my cluster ends up. I also cut out the one that looks like a letterboard that says You Glow Girl. And the other 3x4 card I cut out, you can actually see the little aqua stripes in the pink glasses, is the ones with the 3 pair of glasses, and it says look on the bright side, which Jessica, to me, she was always helping me look on the bright side while I was there. I end up cutting that down so you only have the aqua glasses. I wish I had gone ahead and cut out, like fussy cut, the other 2 pairs of glasses and included those in the other layouts. The reason I had to include those glasses, I love Jessica's glasses. They just, I saw those and they made me think of her. So I was like, I have to include them. All right, so I'm putting together all of my paper layers and I start doing it very neatly, and then I realized, wait a second, I didn't want it to be neat. I wanted a messy stack, and it's messier than my stacks usually are, even though it doesn't look too bad. But I wanted that because it's a creativation photo and there was so much happening and going on all at once. And having the messy stacks helps to convey that little bit of motion. I just put on the 1-inch foam tape. That is from scrapbook.com, and I have sung its praises before. I'm going to sing those praises again. Their foam tape is fabulous. It is one I will continue to buy over and over again for as long as it's available. Now, here I am cutting out that 3x4, and you see I kept all the glasses together to begin with. And I didn't keep the rectangular design because that section is so small, I felt if I left it as a rectangle, it would end up being too blocky. So I'm peeling all this stuff up, and you're probably going, oh my gosh, why in the world? I kind of forgot I was including some stuff that I left off, like the ribbon. When looking at Miranda's layout, there's a layer of ribbon at the top and bottom of those paper layers, and I completely forgot about it. I had it pulled, I knew what I wanted to use, and then forgot about it. This is also the first time I think I've ever applied ribbon with that score tape that has that suquang, or however you say it. And I put it on the layout first and then put the ribbon over it. Oh my gosh, why I have not done that. Why I've been applying the adhesive to the ribbon and then the ribbon to the layout is beyond me. But these ribbons are ones from my ribbon jar I have had for longer than I've had a daughter. They're probably from the Target dollar spot. So they don't match. Well, they match the layout. They don't match each other. They coordinate with each other. Here I am cutting off those green glasses going, it's just not going to work. But I do like that bit of color it adds. I put the printed one at the top because it reminded me of sunbursts. I know they're flowers. And there's, you see the blue ones, but there are actually some yellow and white flower bursts in there too. You just can't see them. I'm using some thread I picked up. This is some stuff I got from Amazon, like 30 colors for $10, whatever. It's cheap stuff. I wouldn't want to sew with it. It's probably stuff I could pull apart instead of just snipping with the scissors. But Miranda's layout did have some messy threads a la Missy Whidden on it. And I have watched Missy Whidden. She's amazing. And I do not know how she can get her little messy thread nests to do what she does. Because whenever I try to do it, it's a headache. Plain and simple. I had pulled the pink, a yellow, and an aqua, and I ended up going with the aqua twice, and then the pink by itself up at the glasses. The yellow just did not show up very well. Here's my big title pull, just like Miranda's. And it isn't until I finish the entire layout, and like I'm photographing it, that I notice that the O and the B in Fabulous have little centers you can remove. And I decided I'm just going to leave them in. If I removed it, you'd end up getting a lot of stripes behind it. And I don't think I'd like it. The fact that they both managed to stay in without me noticing until photographing it made me go, oh, I think I'm okay then. So pulling out some phrase stickers, I added in some stickers with the Life is Better When You're Laughing, the rainbow, and the little iced coffee. I meant to pull out the iced coffee with each of the clusters and completely forgot. There's the chipboard. They have chipboard coffees, which is where I wanted to pull them from, and then I forgot. Yeah, so there's that pink one. That pink one I think I leave on there for a while. Forget to move it off. And it's not until like I'm almost done with the layout and I go, oh yeah, I was going to do this. So the chipboard has, a lot of it's fallen out of the package, within the package. So I just dumped it into the drawer. I am using a drawer. That's not a drawer. That's a bowl, the little white bowl I have. I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue it down because we all know how chipboard likes to lose its sticky. So I went ahead and end up gluing it all down again. And I'm trying to mix up the flowers. Some of the flowers, they're different colors, but the same exact arrangement, like the arrangement, they just changed the colorways. And I'm like, yeah, no. Here's some of my cheap foam tape that I am trying desperately hard to use up. I am almost done with it. And I will never be buying that cheap stuff again. Seriously. Scrapbook.com, foam adhesive, the best. So I'm layering up the little blue flower sticker with the little pink telephone since we were taking selfies with our phone. And I do not understand how I could miss that bright pink cup of drink on my face the entire time I'm doing this layout. Like, how is that even possible? So I'm checking, zooming in, making sure I'm kind of getting all the elements in there. Because at this point, I'm wrapping it up. And this is when I noticed that Miranda actually has hers mounted on a black piece of paper. And I was like, ah. So I was toying around with maybe trimming some off the sides. And I decided, nope, I'm just going to leave it like this. These I think are from Jelly Bean Soup. They're old. I don't even have the packaging, but they're old hearts, the enamel shapes. And I pull in the pink and the green and the yellow and I think, oh, and the aqua, and just kind of add those in. That does not mean I don't stop and do my Nuvo drops. I still include the colors. I will pop up a little thing right here to say what colors I'm using. So, and I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. Close-ups are coming up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would subscribe and even hit that bell to be notified whenever I have new videos that go up. Stamp With Me is a great series, and there are some more lovely ladies down below. Check out their layouts as well. And I think that's everything. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I can't wait to hear what stamping you're using on your layouts coming up. Bye!